Hey guys, ForbesyGames here. In this video I wanted to bring you my final loot update for 3.10 as well as my Atlas and farming strategy. So if we take a look over at my gear now, you can see there that I managed to get myself a Headhunter this league. So this is the first Headhunter that I ever acquired, and I didn't get it through the use of divination cards. I got it purely for farming expensive items and selling those items through PoE trade in order to acquire the amount of currency to buy the Headhunter. So this Headhunter actually cost me basically half a mirror. And I'll just firstly show you how I managed to get the currency to buy it, and then we will look at all the other bits and pieces of my gear, the build I'm running, the maps I'm running, how I configured my Atlas, and everything like that. So first off, basically what I did was I decided to farm tower maps because they drop the nurse divination card. So my initial thought process was to actually farm the divination cards at the beginning of the league to allow myself to get a Headhunter through turning in the cards rather than using currency to buy one. But I've found that it's a lot more effective to just gain currency and then purchase one from PoE trade if you're playing in Trade League. But if you're not, then the only way you can get it is by farming the divination cards or using chances or ancient orbs and things like that. So basically what I did, if we take a look at the Atlas and we look at tower, so tower's over here, we need it to be 5, so if you only put one of these watchstones in this area, oh wait, just 0 actually, no watchstones, you get tower 5. So what you have to do is make sure there's no other maps that are tier 4. So let me just turn that sound down, it's a bit obnoxious, a bit loud. Alright, so basically you take all the watchstones out of there so that you've got you've only got tower as tier 5, and then as you can see I have no other tier 5 maps except for tower highlighted at the moment. And then if I look at 6, there's no other maps highlighted that are tier 6, which means I can't drop tiers higher than tier 5 that I'm running. And also 4, if I look at tier 4, the only other tier 4s are next to tower, and those maps get me tower anyway because the next tier 5 above tier 4 is towers, if that makes sense. But if you basically just make your Atlas look like mine, I just put watchstones into everywhere except for in this part, because once you start taking all of these watchstones out, you get some tier 4s that can drop and things like that. So you just want to make sure there's no tier 6s, no tier 4s, and all the only tier 5 is just tower. That way you're only going to get tower. So I sustained tower pretty well. I was probably getting like by doing it this way, which is how the Atlas is at the moment, I managed to get like maybe 1 to 3 towers every time I ran a tower map, or any other map within its vicinity. So that's how I sustained towers. And I'd probably farming a whole day of farming, I'd probably get about 3 nurses, and that's an entire day spent farming. So what I would do is just farm these maps, get nurses, and then we go over here, they're 230 chaos. So normally I would end up getting like 5 of them and just sell them all. So that's how I got a lot of currency initially, which I was just saving up. And then I managed to use a Valor-Bonin Intuitive Leap Jewel. And I got mana reserved. I didn't know how much it was at first, but because there's that new Herald stacking build, pretty much certain items have gone up a ridiculous amount. So I managed to get reduced mana reserved. I sold it. I think at the time I sold it for about 60 exalts. And if we look at the Headhunter, it's 100 exalts now basically. I wanted to get one that was level 80, not corrupted, and yeah, that's it basically. And I think I got it for I think it was 160 at the time. So it's gone down quite a lot now. Although if you're thinking of buying one now, it's probably worth just waiting for standard. Although I may be wrong on that point actually, because I have seen prices shoot up in standard after the league switches over. So maybe even, let me just check what the price is in standard at the moment. Headhunter. I'm willing to bet it's more actually. Willing to bet it's way more chaos. Oh no, only 49. Wait, look at one that isn't corrupted. No. Okay, so it's 50 chaos. We want one that's 80, item level 80. Yeah, okay, pretty cheap actually. So 51 chaos. Although this price might shoot up once the league switches over to standard again, and once everyone's items start moving over to standard. So I'd either buy it now in standard, just because it's cheaper and you might as well. So yeah, so I've got most of my currency from the Leap Jewel, and then I think I was on about 80 exalts or something like that, and I sold my Feral's Fur 6-linked, so that ended up getting me quite a lot more exalts. I sold all of my nurse cards, and that basically got me up to the point where I was probably about 20 exalts away from getting a Headhunter. So then I just kept farming maps just constantly until I had enough currency just to buy one. So yeah, I think it's actually a lot faster to farm meta items and sell them. I've also been selling if we look for Herald, there's these jewels that you can get and sell them. I think if you get them with adds 4 passive skills, around halfway through the league they were going for about 1.5 exalts to 2 exalts. So during my farming session of getting those nurse cards, I was also selling quite a few of these jewels, and because they're meta and everyone's running that Herald stacking build, I was able to get a lot of currency out of that. So it's always good whenever you're in a league just to go onto the PoE Ninja website and just look at DPS, and this is probably a Herald stacking build right now. Yeah, so Herald stacking build. So straight away, sort by DPS, you get the meta. You can also see what the most popular build is at the moment, which is Guardian and Scion. So when they're up in their percentages, you click on them, sort by DPS, which is normally going to be what the meta is by sorting by DPS. And then when you open it up, you'll see that like you'll see the entire build, and you'll be able to just copy the items that they're using and copy their path of building, then just pretty much just cookie cutter it if you wanted to. So that's how you find the meta, and then whenever you find items like this, like I think I've found probably at least 4 Call of the Brotherhoods, which I think they're going for 1 Exalt now, but previously I think they were going for about 2 Exalts. So I was selling them. I managed to get a good corruption on the Prism Guardian as well, which I sold that. I actually ended up trying this build out for a bit, but then I ended up just selling all of the items again and going back to my Ice Shot character. So if we jump back on, I might just show you my skill tree as well and all my gems. So we'll get to that section. I might put a timestamp in the video for that. So this is gems. So we've got Ice Shot, greater multiple projectiles, added cold, elemental damage with attacks, inspiration, chain support. Then we just got a blink arrow. We're not actually using that on our pariah ring. And we've got a portal on the other one, which we're not really using at the moment either. I'm just using portal scrolls because they're a bit quicker. And if you get hit, or you get stunned, the portal gem doesn't trigger. Also, this build's pretty rippy because my resistances are very low. So I've been using the Wise Oak to get some more resistances, but it's pretty rippy at the moment. So I've got a Cast on Death portal linked, and Mortal Core, cast some damage taken, Phase Run, Precision, Blood Rage, increased duration on my boots, Void Fletcher, just because of I found it's way better using Ice Shot with Void Fletcher than it is using the classic Tornado Shot with Rigwards. But I purchased a 21-23 just in case, for standard, in case they decide to give it a buff again. I just purchased it in this league. And then these are all I've got a Bleed Flask instant and a Freeze removal flask. So that's so you pretty much need a Bleed and Freeze. They're your basics. Then it's like Curse removal and poison and shock and all that. But normally I only ever do Freeze and Bleed. Poison sometimes can get you, and curses as well. Curses, and it's sort of like Bleed's number 1, Freeze is number 2, Curses 3 in terms of how important they are, and 4 would be like Shock, and like Shock, Fire, and all that like removal is not as important. And then I managed to corrupt my Fractal Thoughts, and I got +2 socketed cold gems, which adds 2 to my Herald of Ice, which is already 20-23, and makes my Hatred 23-20. So that's giving me a lot more damage, as well as Assassin Mark and Curse on Hit aren't doing anything. So I think I got the best corruption in terms of what you can get, which is just adding like more damage to these. Because if I got +1 socketed gems, then getting Curse on Hit to another level and Assassin's Mark wouldn't really do a whole lot for me. So just kept it like that. I got Art of the Gladiator for my Bisco's collar, and that allocates this, so I don't have to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 points getting to there, and so that saves me a bit of travelling, and I get ignore or movement penalties from armour. That was the main stat I wanted, as well as I've got some move speed down here, life, cold damage, dual just for resistances, cold damage, point blank, which you don't really need too much, but it's good for doing bosses and stuff. 2 inspired learnings, one here, one here. Just allocate the 4 medium-sized cluster points for that. Got some survivability there by getting phase acro Lionize 4, which just gives me some more damage. Had to get these 2 stat points just so that I'm able to equip my gear there, of which is dexterity is the highest, so I do get the damage bonus from that, the elemental damage. And yeah, just more life, crit, another jewel, which you can sneak over this way with a jewel to get some more resistance, especially if you've got as much resistance as I do. You can work your way around there, unspec these, which is what I did to get the jewel over here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to check out my character and path of building, you just go to path of building, import build, just type in my name there for PC, press start. It'll get a list of my characters and import them into it. So just wait for that. And then these are all of my characters here. So I've named them the Ascendancy class, so if you're interested in seeing which particular class you like, if you're interested in a Deadeye, you just click Deadeye, or Shadow, Slayer, whatever. This build was patched a long time ago, so this is my main character as well, which is just a Slayer. And I'm eventually going to get him to 100, hopefully. Now that I've got that Headhunter, I can get him up to 100 pretty fast. Yeah, so there's the Ranger, and then you just import the passive tree and jewels. So just wait for that. And then after that finishes loading, you do items and skills. So items and skills as well. And then you go, I think you go done after you finish importing. Make sure you, let's go tree. Okay, don't press done. Just press save as, and then you can just call it whatever you like, and just save it to your list of characters. So then it'll give you all of my gems, all of my items. It gives you alternate items as well, which is interesting, but yeah, and then it shows you like all the different locations there on the right. When you hover over it, it shows you the little spot where I've got it on the tree, which is cool. Yeah, so that's that. So I'll just show you a quick map, just to show you how good the amount of loot is that I'm getting each time. So what we'll do is just chuck in a few of these sacrifice fragments. You want to make your maps roll rare monsters most of the time, so that you can get that Headhunter buff. And having the Legion spawn is also really good. So I might just do this one. Just put the sound. Oh yeah, but my hideout as well. This is just my hideout. Let's give you a quick look at my hideout before I go on the map. Also has like shaper music that comes with it as well. That's how big it is. So yeah, just run the map. There's the tower. Let's turn the volume down, it's a little bit obnoxious. Okay, that's better. Normally I'd, oh, that's very loud. I've got like a Diablo filter going on. Some of the sounds are a bit too loud and obnoxious. Yep. Alright, so Legions are really good because you can get those rare buffs with the Headhunter. Even if you've got three inspired learnings, that's a really good start. If you play an Assassin Blade Vortex build, it's really, really good for fast clearing if you've got inspired learnings. So you can see I've got all my buffs up. I'm actually killing more monsters than what I would normally. Normally I just do one little tap and run, but because there's no time limit on this encounter, because I've used a Delirium Orb, I'm just taking my time. Just run through. You can see with the Headhunter it makes things a lot faster and easier. And then, yeah, I even feel like I could do a little bit more damage than what I'm dealing, just so that I can get the one shot and move on. But the version of this build that isn't Magic Find, Quant, is still really viable for endgame and everything. Alright, so just clear all this. I normally don't bother killing the boss either. Alright, so that's done. So we'll just do a few more maps. I'll just rush through this one because I have a timer. So this is what I do. I just sell all my 6 sockets, dump all of this into the currency tab, and then I've got a dump tab for everything else that I just chuck in there. I feel like I'm lacking a bit of damage. I might just double check what I've got set up. We should be one-shotting, but I feel like there's another tower. So you normally get like, yeah, like I say, you normally get like 2-3 towers a map. So you can sustain it pretty well, and then if you start lagging behind on towers, like you've been forgetting to pick them up, you can always just buy a few of them. And the tier of the map doesn't affect the the drops, you'll still be able to. There's still just as much chance as it is to get the divination card in the lower tier as it is to get it on the higher tier. There's just happens to be more monsters, and you can use the what are they called? Sextants. You can use the sextants, and that increases the amount of monsters, which in turn increases the chance to get it, but you can still have the same likelihood of getting it by increasing it just with like alchemy orbs and all that anyway. But I got plenty of nurse cards by just alching and going pretty much the whole time, not even using the sacrifice fragments. And yeah, that's pretty much all you do. You just keep at it. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the league for me. Oh, that's alright. It's not too bad of a chess piece. Yeah, this is pretty much the end of the league for me. I've completed my main goal was to get a Headhunter, and I've achieved that. When we move over to standard, I'm gonna try and I'm always gonna keep this character. It's just gonna be my magic find quant character that I'll be using just to farm currency in standard. So I'll never get rid of it. I'll just always be using it to gain items. While I'm doing this, I might as well. I've also got this is the variant of the build that isn't MF. So these are just the items. I still need a 6-link my Feral's Fur. Managed to buy a 6-link bow, and I've got another inspired learning there I should probably just sell. Yeah, these are the items for my for just the leveling variant of it. So I need to get like better rings as well. Maybe like one of these Herald Topaz rings synthesized for Herald of Ice or Hatred. That'd be really, really good, considering that's already buffed with the Fractal Forts. Yeah, these are all the other bits and pieces I found. I found that yesterday, sort of just crafted lightning rays on it. Yeah, let's just, because I've shown you the MF version of it, let's quickly respec over to the non-MF version of it, of this build. I haven't been using this yet because I haven't 6-linked it. Let's quickly swap all my gear over. Don't need that. Actually, do I need that? I guess it adds a projectile. Oh yeah, it fires additional projectiles, so we just use hypothermia. We use these two. We need to respec most of this. So we use that. I think we have one inspired learning. Just one. We get these. Get this. That already has the ints. Yep, so we get that. Good thing you can do with PoE Ninja is if we reset this and you just go Headhunter, box arborics, fractal thoughts, pandemonious, and then just sort by, you can sort by DPS. So you just set all the items that you want or that you already use on your character, and then you can just see what other people have done with theirs. So he got, let's check a few. And just see what the most optimal one is. Gets that. Doesn't get those two. Anyway, I'll look at it later. This is pretty much the most of it. Don't need that jewel. Where's that point gone? Okay, I don't need the movement. Or do I? Let's see. Okay, he routed a very strange way. Yeah, I think this is the one that I wanted to go with. Now, because they're level 100, except for that, because they're level 100... Oh, where's that dex? Yeah, you got that. Took out the movement speed, gets more damage. And that goes there. It's got an inspired learning? No, okay. So you got all of those points without an inspired learning. That's a bit strange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't really need this accuracy, to be honest. I might just get rid of that and chuck it into movement. And then I'll put more resistances there. Other than that, that's pretty much it. You can also go up here and chuck another inspired learning in, because the inspired learning also overlaps this point there. And this, we need that with mortal core, custom damage, taken, increase duration wards mark, that's fine. Chuck those points, those gems in. And yeah, that's it. So what's our res at? Okay, so we're res capped. Definitely res capped. We don't even need some of those jewels, we can just chuck in some more damage. Just damage. Still res capped. Got one inspired learning and a headhunter, so pretty decent at the moment. So just chuck all that in there. And then we'll just do another tower just so you guys can see the difference between MF and just a normal version of this build. Alright, so let's just jump in. Now just one-shot packs, pretty much. Now the single target on this is exceptional. And there's also the Wretched cards which you can get. There's a chance that you can get a Headhunter as well with the Wretched cards. So you've got 2 sets of divination cards in this particular map that have the chance of giving you the Headhunter, which makes it even more worth farming. But obviously I never got one from the by gambling with the Wretched cards. It's honestly you're better off selling them. Oh, I died. Nope. Needed to press that freeze fast then. And we'll just check out the single target. Yeah, so pretty much just one shot the boss. It's only a low tier map, but even on high tier maps, it's a lot of damage. So you can do Shaper with it. Alright, so that's basically it, guys. Covered everything I wanted to cover in the video. Hopefully you guys, I'll put links in the description to the Atlas strategy, to the description of how I got the Headhunters, or the Headhunter. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll just show you my characters, because I've changed up a bit. I tried Spectral Throw, Slayer, and this was the Herald stacking build, which I ended up selling all of it to buy the Headhunter. So yep, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. I'll put all the links in the description, and I'm off to play Diablo 2 now. See you later.